All right, top 10 wrestlers in my mind. There's going to be a lot of guys I'm going to leave out, and no disrespect to them. And I know people are going to be like, well, why don't you put this guy in there? Why don't you put this guy in there? I'm going to pick the top 10 wrestlers who I think should be on the list that were big top guys. Like, obviously, like Edge and Kane are not going to be on this list because they're not guys that people know, but I'm not going to pick guys that people remember. So I'm going to go with my top 10 list of guys that people know and they love. So obviously, number one has to be a guy that I've fell in love with as a wrestler, and that's The Undertaker. Undertaker is definitely number one on my list. You know, he's the phenom. I mean, he's been in every match you could think of. He's fought almost every wrestler you could think of. So he's got to be on the top 10 list. Number two has to be somebody that I actually met, and that is Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle had such a great career in the WWE. I think he is by far one of the greatest guys you can ever know, and he's definitely got to be on the list. The number three guy has to be The Game. Yes, I was a huge Triple H fan. Got to put Triple H on this list. Triple H is definitely on the list, and I'm putting him on there because of his great career. He had a wonderful career. Number four has to be a guy that always beat up his boss. Who do you think that is? I'll give you a minute to think. All right, yes, if you haven't figured it out, it's Stone Cold. Yeah, you got to put Stone Cold on the list. And I personally believe that if Stone Cold was not in the WWE back in the 90s, I don't know if WWE would have survived WCW. That's just my opinion. And the number five list has to be none other than half of the team that I first saw in my very first match, which is What You Gonna Do, Brother Hulk Hogan. He has to be on the top 10. He has to be on the top 10. So I'm going to do my bottom 10 in a few seconds. So sit back, relax, and let's enjoy. A lot of great wrestlers were not going to be on this list, but I can't pick all of them, which is kind of sad. Here's a couple honorable mentions that will not sadly be on the list. The ninth wonder of the world, China. No, I'm kidding. Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant's a great wrestler, but I didn't know him too long because I really didn't watch wrestling much until the 90s, so that's probably why, along with Roddy Piper, along with Brutus the Barber Beefcake and that, Million Macho Man, they're not sadly going to make the list, even though they are great, talented wrestlers. All right, number six has to be my favorite Canadian wrestler of all time, Chris Benoit. I'm kidding, no. Number six is definitely Bret the Hitman Hart. I loved what Bret Hart brought to the table. He's the best there is, the best there was, and the best there will be. You got to put him in there. I think he's definitely deserved to be on the top 10 list. Number seven, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Yes, I didn't root for him much because of the fact that he always fought somebody I liked, but that doesn't mean that I don't like him and respect him. I thought he was a great athlete. He did phenomenal. He's definitely on my top 10 list of all-time favorite wrestlers. Number eight has to be the Nature Boy. Yeah, you can't have a list without Ric Flair. Doesn't matter where they have him at number 1, number 10, number 5, number 8. You got to have the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, on your list. He's definitely, by far, one of the greatest of all time. Number 9 has to be If You Smell. Yeah, you got to put The Rock on there. I mean, yeah, The Rock might not be in the top 5, but he's definitely in the top 10 in my eyes. You know, he always entertained me. He always entertained the fans when he'd always say, and the millions. So you definitely have to put him in there. Who is my final one? And this is so hard to pick top 10 only. But it is so hard. But if I had to pick a 10th one, I got to pick somebody that put their body and their soul on the line. No, it's not The Undertaker because I already mentioned him. But I picked somebody that would be so crazy in the WWE, who would do so many crazy things, who did so many crazy moves. Whether you rooted for him or cheered for him, you had to give respect for this guy. And that is, well, I'll give you 2 words. Bang, bang, or have a nice day. Yeah, you got to pick Mick Foley in there. Mick Foley is by far one of the hardest workers, maybe other than The Undertaker, of course, because he's fought for so long. But Mick Foley was such a great athlete. He put his body, his soul on the line, and for that, I'm grateful. Am I sad to see The Undertaker retire and see my wrestling days come to an end? Yeah, I mean, it's sad because, Undertaker's like the last outlaw out of every wrestler I just named. The only one who I can consider possibly coming back for another match or two would be The Rock. But that's up to The Rock, and I know The Rock said if he comes back, he's only going to fight Roman Reigns. So I don't see anybody else coming back. All right, and my top 5 favorite non-top guys. Obviously, those guys are huge in the WWE. You can't disagree with that. So I'm going to pick my top 5 guys who I think were good but not great. We'll do that when we return.